Hello, my name is Bruce Easley. I am a Texas Master Florist and a member of the TSFA education team. Today we're going to be making the long and low centerpiece. You could also use this arrangement as a short podium piece if you have a tabletop podium to put in front of a tabletop podium. So you can do several different things with this centerpiece. And I'm going to start today by talking about options with foam and your container for this arrangement. First of all, you'll need a number 78 or something similar to this number 78 is made by Syndicate Sales, but other companies make containers very similar. This is very inexpensive. It's sort of like the number 73 that we use for the round arrangements. But anyway, two options for foam is you can do a whole brick of foam and put it in the arrangement sideways and tape it down, or a little more cost-effective way of doing it is to cut two pieces, 2/3 of the brick of foam and put them side by side. It's a little bit shorter, as you can see, than that one, but it will save you a little bit of money. I'm using some candles in this. It's a little heavier arrangement, so I'm going to use the taller piece in this case, but for you, you could use either one you want to do. So the first thing I think you should do on this arrangement is to discuss with your client what measurements they need for this arrangement. How long does it need to be? How wide is the table? It's very important. If it's a banquet and you have plates sitting on each side of the arrangement, you need to have plenty of room between the arrangement for place settings. So be sure that you get correct arrangements and height measurements, because you don't want something really tall if you're sitting down trying to talk across the table to people on the other side. So be sure and get all those good measurements that you need before you ever get started on your centerpieces. The next thing is whether you want to have candles. We're going to do candle centerpieces. I have two different types to show you today. First, the one we're going to be making is an arrangement with two tapers in it. And the other option would be, of course, a big round pillar. And pillars come in different sizes, 3-inch, 6-inch, 9-inch. I think you want to use probably at least a 6-inch pillar. A 3-inch gets a little down into the arrangement too far, and you want to always have the flame of a candle to where it's plenty high and the flowers are low enough that you don't catch your arrangement on fire, obviously. So that's very important. So we're going to start greening our arrangement. I'll tell you some of the items we're going to be using in the arrangement. I'm going to use a little bit of ruscus. We'll be using leather leaf. And we'll be using a little bit of Pittis Porum for our greening. And those are the things we're going to start with today. So you want to establish your length with your foliage first. I'm going to base out the arrangement. I don't like to completely green my arrangement because when you start putting flowers into the foam, then you've covered everything up. So I like to base out, cover up my mechanics all the way around, and establish my length with my foliage. So, but before we do that, these are the candle holders. You can buy them at your local wholesaler, and they come all attached together. You just break them off, but you get, I think, about 24 of them in a package. So just contact your local wholesaler to find your candle holders. The pillar candle is a bigger round holder, and you can also get those there also. You want your candles to be situated close together in the center of your arrangement. So these stay in there good and firm. You just mash those down right into the center of your foam. And then I'm going to use these sort of burnt orange, rusty brown colored candles because it's a good fall color. And we're doing a fall arrangement. So you want to push those down there. There are little ridges in this holder, so when you push it in there, it holds the candle into it. If you have candles that are too small, you can use cling. Cling is a putty type substance that you can buy. It comes on a roll, and you can wrap it around the base of the candle before you put it down in there, and that will secure the candle really well to it. So I'm going to start with some leather leaf and come out, well, I'll take that back. I'm going to start with some ruscus to give me my length. And this arrangement's not real huge. It's not a big arrangement, so I don't need to bring it out really long. If you want really long centerpieces, you can use something like snapdragons to come out long as you need to, or even gladiolas. You can use gladiolas to come out with a nice long length and give you a much longer arrangement. This one is pretty simple, pretty basic, so we're just going to go with, and that's going to establish my length there. Your flowers don't have to go all the way out past the end of your foliage on this. And that's all I'm going to use with that right now until I use for filling in. I'm going to go in with my leather leaf, and I'm going to cover my container just like you do when you are doing a symmetrical or asymmetrical arrangement. You want to always place your foliage in the direction that it's growing, should grow naturally. So I'm going to go around the container and place the foliage in here using leather leaf. You could use lemon leaf. You could use any really type of foliage that you'd like to do. A little bit later on, I'm going to show you this centerpiece in a Christmas design, and you can use all type of Christmas greens. So the options are endless pretty much for what you can use. If you want to forage for foliage, especially in the fall, if you want to get pretty fall leaves, or in Christmas if you want to get cedar or any of those kind of things, make sure that you soak those in nice cold water in a sink or something to get all of the anything on them that is not very desirable, like bugs or whatever. You want to have your foliage nice and clean if you're going to forage in the woods for it. So just continuing on, it takes a little bit of time to do the basing out with the foliage. Be sure and cover up the lip of your container all the way around, because you don't want to see those mechanics. This arrangement is also in our TSFA curriculum book. If you don't have the curriculum book, it has a lot of great ideas in it for you, and it has a little bit different recipe in there. It's a simple recipe that's similar to this one I'm going to be doing. So call the TSFA office and ask for the curriculum book. I think you'll be glad that you got it. It has a lot of good things in there for your classroom. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm going to do with the foliage right now, just to get it based, and then I'm going to start with my flowers. And we'll come back and add a little bit of greenery into it a little bit later, because you're going to need some foliage to cover your candlesticks, and your filler and all that will do that to where you have a nice compact arrangement. I'm going to start with my mass flowers, which are carnations. That's going to be the main flower. And I'm going to use 6 of those. And rather than using a line flower, I'm just using carnations to extend my length. But I'm going to go in right into the side, and you want to keep it a little bit lower. Rest it right on the lip of that container if you can. Make sure that you go into the foam a couple of inches so that it has a good water source. Then I'm going to use 4 more carnations on the outside, and I'm going to make this to where They're resting right on top also, and it's going to create a good balance with your mass flowers. Remember, if you have a notch on your carnation where you cut, be sure and clean that with your knife and get a really good point on it, and then you won't have trouble getting it into the foam. The next thing I'm going to add to it are fall pom-poms so that we get that good fall flavor. Basically just cutting them off and filling in between. These are your main filler. We will have another filler later to add to it. And then I'm going to start creating some height, a little bit of height with it. Clean all those bad leaves and stuff off of it. You don't want anything looking old. So it's pretty much similar to when you're doing a symmetrical arrangement, how everything is balanced. I've just kind of mirrored everything that I've done when I've put it in here and here, here and here. These are the same. These are opposite of each other in a line going across, as well as these. So everything is kind of same. And that kind of gives you your shape. You can kind of always stand back, look at it. It's always helpful to stand back and look at your arrangement. Next, I'm going to come in with a few orange spray roses. And I'm doing the same thing, opposites on each side to create balance. Be sure and get them down into that foam. If you're doing a small arrangement, it's hard to do clusters of flowers like these. It just doesn't give you that visual balance. It does it if you take the leaders off. So if you're doing a large arrangement, you can usually get away with doing groupings of flowers on one stem a little easier. What I'm going to do with this group is I'm going to come up right in the center in between my candles and put that top one there. Now see the distance, I have quite a bit of distance from my candles to here. So I'm going to be ensured that my flowers are not going to catch on fire, at least for the party anyway. I mean, that's several hours of burning there on the candles. Okay. Next, I'm going to come back in with a little bit more foliage and fill in the rest of it. Now that I've got my skeletal in place, I'm going to fill in a little more with a little more foliage. I'm going to use some pittosporum. This is variegated pittosporum. Cover up any mechanics that you have left that you can see around the edges. You could use fall leaves to do this with, would look really good. Pittosporum is a great source for you. You could plant them at your school. It's a great thing that you could plant outside on your campus and just cut from the bushes, and it'll save you lots of money for your foliage and all of your arrangements. And we're all about saving money, right? The next thing I'm going to put in is our other filler flower, which is solidago. Those of you who live in the country can see this growing in pastures certain times of the year. It is a form of solidago. It's not quite, this is a little bit different, but it works just the same. You just need to wash it, fumigate it, and make sure that it doesn't have bugs or anything in it. So I'm just going in and gonna fill in with the solidago all the way around. One thing I want to do is I have made a couple of small burlap bows. You could use any kind of fall ribbon. Burlap is really popular right now. And these bows are a little large, but I'll tell you why they're large, because I'm going to take the bow and put it down into the arrangement on one side, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. That's why you don't want to have a lot of foliage in the beginning down in your arrangement, because when you start putting things like that, you just cover it up. So I put that bow in, and I took this out, and I'm going to put that back in, and it's going to cover up a lot of that bow. You don't want to look at a centerpiece and all you see is bow. You don't want that to be your focus. You want the flowers to be your focus. So I'll do the same on the other side. You can blend a little bit of your filler into those also. Come over to this side. Solidago has a good point to it also, so it's really good to help create your centerpiece point, your long point. You can take the little leaders off. Don't waste anything. Use it all. Stick it down in there deep. I have these are hypericum berries, and I only have a couple of them, but I'm going to use those as a great accent. Berries are always nice for the fall, for the winter, for Christmas, to use in arrangements. So I'm going to put this right in the center of that bow, and that's going to really brighten up that bow a little bit. Small one there, so I'll add that to it. And then I've got some rustic pine cones. You could pick pine cones from your pine trees or whatever. If you do, just be sure that you wash them, soak them in really good soapy water, and make sure that they're good and clean. I'm going to create a balance with these, and I'm going to do them on each end and then on each side. Once again, using them to cover up some more of that bow. And you say, well, why even use ribbon if you're going to cover it all up? Well, we're not covering the whole thing up, and it gives, you see just a small bit of it. And one more item we have to go in this is some wheat. So we're going to take some wheat and we're just going to add a little accent. It's going to give a little bit of drama to the arrangement, and everybody loves drama, right? Once again, helping with the length of the arrangement. You wouldn't want to put it on the sides because it's going to stick out into your place settings or whatever. So you want to always go up with it a little bit when you're using the sides. And there you have a fall centerpiece. I'll show you one that I've done back here that's a little different. Again, using the tapers. I've done a little bit of different. I stopped by the dollar store and got these little pumpkins, little faux pumpkins that you can use. They were on picks with a little bit of fall foliage, and you can use anything like that that you want to dress it up. It's even got some little faux berries in it. So don't be afraid to add faux or artificial flowers in with real flowers, especially, you know, if it helps the arrangement to look better. And I've created another one that is a Christmas arrangement to give you an idea of what you can do for the Christmas holidays. It's a little different style. It has a high to low, sort of asymmetrical shape to it. I've just used some of this Australian pine that to come up. You could use regular pine from a pine tree or whatever to bring up here and then bring it down here so you have this sweeping motion. But the rest of the arrangement is pretty much the same. I used the pillar candle in the center. It's a little heavier. It gives a little bit more weight to the arrangement. The pine cones are tipped in white, and just red carnations, white pom-poms, some holly. Another good item to plant in your schoolyard is holly for the holidays. That way you can take cuttings off of it. And some more of those red berries, which are really, really nice for the holidays. So I've also taken some, it has some, this is just magnolia leaves that I've used the back side of that are more gold on the back side. And I've used some of those. And these, this is lemon leaf that I've sprayed with gold Design Master paint to give another color of the holidays. So there you have long and low centerpieces. Easy to do. I think you'll have a fun time with it. And good luck.